while you're, under contract, with the military. It's an oath you take,
Forever.
Under God, and it's for life.
Forever.
And it's the oath that we all know, to protect against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That's right.
Constitution. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, and I don't understand why it only applies to certain people. So, everybody should be honoring their oath. Law enforcement,
Amen.
veterans, military, politicians.
That's right. Where are they?
Yeah, where are they?
Yeah.
Where are they?
Question.
So, in my opinion, every politician out there should reaffirm their oath to the Constitution
Amen.
or resign.
That's right.
Amen.
But
Yes.
they all need to reaffirm their oath to show the American people that they do care about the Constitution. And from that point on, they can be held more accountable than the people have ever held them accountable before.
他现在在问那些美国那些军人到哪里去了？
Politicians, honor your oath, reaffirm your oath,
That's right.
美国的
honor
军
the
人，
Constitution.
军人们，
That's the law of the land here. We the people never said it was okay to just toss it out the window.
That's
So
right.
You had to take
Start
it every
doing your
September
job.
17th.
Yes.
Absolutely. And for those of you who may not know or haven't heard the oath, this is the oath that I took when I was in the U.S. Air Force. I, Randy Luke Ireland, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to the regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
Right.
So help me God.
That's
Amen.
right.
That is the oath we are talking about.
Yes.
And again, the one thing that's missing in there, you do not take an oath to a presidential administration. You don't take an oath to the elected officers or the elected Congress. You take an oath to the Constitution. And within that Constitution, it spells out what is a lawful order that you're obliged to either uphold or to stand down and not obey that order. So it goes both ways. The Constitution is the crux. It is the absolute foundation to this country. So, thank you, Justin. Sherry, would you like to?
I'd love to.
And who else do we have here that are veterans? Stormtrooper?
Yeah, but he summed it up all. I can't even put any more on him. Well, his words were my words.
Well, my name is Sherry, and most of you know I am an Army veteran of 12 years. I went in and I took my oath at 17 years old, and I didn't know what that meant till I was sent to the desert. And then I found out. But it hasn't been till very recently that oath has been put to the test. And it means more to me now than it did when I raised my right hand. And the oath that I took when I went in the Army did say that we took an oath to our Commander-in-Chief. But we also took an oath that if that Commander-in-Chief did not make he made an order that did not follow the Constitution, and you knew in your heart that it was wrong, that you had a right and a duty to stand up against that order and do what was right. And that's what we're doing today. That's what everybody standing here is doing today. They're standing up for what is right. They are standing up for the Constitution. And all of us military veterans are standing up for the oath that we took. Where are the rest of you? All of you that took that oath should be standing right here with us. You can see it with your own eyes, that this government is not the government that we fought for, that we took an oath to defend. That's not what we have anymore. And you should be outraged. But I thank God that He has sent me here to be amongst these patriots, because there is nowhere in the world or in my life that I'd rather be than standing right here on this sidewalk and standing up for the Constitution and the rights of humankind.
Sure. Yeah. Right on.
Nicole. I just wanted to kind of, set the stage from the standpoint of, we're talking about this week about the Oath Keepers, and that's really the heart and the soul of what the Oath Keepers are all about. It's retired and active duty military, law enforcement, frontline workers, and it all centers around that oath. And at least it does for me personally. So I just wanted to mention that.
Okay. Randy, did you want to read that about Jeff McKillop, or? Okay, because we do have an update from him, and he is a 30-year veteran of the Marine Corps. So, yeah. And, Army Green Beret. I'm wrong. It's okay. It's not the first time. All right. So, in court today, it started out with Special Agent Papillon finishing his testimony. They did a redress and went over some more questions, and basically it was the same signal messages and all of this that really just showed they were planning for Antifa and BLM. They also had an operational email that Mr. Caldwell had sent out that they wanted Special Agent Papillon to read, but it looked like a template to you. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, it looked like just a general template. It was real general, and I mean it was not deep plans or anything like that. It's just kind of like a general overview. So not sure what. Yeah, basically to protect the people from Antifa, BLM, any kind of problems for the patriots out there exercising their constitutional rights. They were going to help out if the police didn't do their job, and we all know the police didn't do their job that day.
Amen.
So thank God for the Oath Keepers.
Amen.
So yeah, so the FBI agent, it was like his third day in a row. So they started off with him. He's done now, I believe. But the thing is pretty much what the FBI used to, execute the warrant for Caldwell and raid his house and arrest him and all that stuff, is they used two things. They used a comment he had made on a Facebook post that said, "Storming the castle," from the Princess Bride movie. So that, plus a photo/video of him at the scaffolding, in which they thought he was inside the Capitol, and they showed this photo. It doesn't look anything like the inside of the Capitol looks. It was obviously scaffolding. So, to use those two things to come in with flashbangs and, taking all your stuff and arresting you and, putting him through all that. This guy, he's a badass. He's retired military. He was a commander, and I mean, to mess with him like that is just wrong. So that really should bother everyone. But
Back to the Facebook messages that they were so intent about, as if it was high-level security things going back and forth on these older gentlemen's Facebook group chat. The government actually insinuated that it sounds like they're giving direction to the Oath Keepers through the Facebook messages. It was not anything like that. A guy from home, wasn't even at 1-6, was like, "We're on the Senate floor." Okay, he's at home. He's talking about we in general, but yet the government insinuated it was direction given. It's such a joke. The second witness the government called is a real winner. He is the one who recorded the 11-4 go-to meeting that the government's super proud of, and because they bring it up all the time. And there was 103 participants on there, not Ken Helsing because it was his birthday, but they still had his name written out there for, I guess, because he was invited. but that's him being part of that conspiracy. But the guy name was Abdullah Rashid, and but that's his 6th name, because like within the last 7-10 years he's changed his name 6 times. And when he was on Cross, they asked him, "You've had all these different identities," and he was like, "Oh, well, yeah, probably 30 or 40 if you count my online personas." And you're like, what? Okay. So he's the leader of the West Virginia Oath Keepers. He founded online, and he signed up online, and he is now the leader of that division. Although that's not how that works, because even in the bylaws of being an Oath Keeper, you cannot be a convicted felon. And this man is a convicted felon of a child rape. So he's definitely not an Oath Keeper. On the Cross, I believe Mr. Fisher asked him if he was being paid by the government, because obviously, why wouldn't you think that? The man changed his name all these times, you know, I mean, he's a child predator, you know, all those things fall in line with him. And he also was very consistent with saying wrong things about the phone conversation on why he recorded it. He said they were going to storm the White House and that it was okay to bring guns, and all those things aren't even in the transcript. So those are things that, you know, he's just not a reliable witness. I think they did a good job today, hopefully, of disqualifying him as, you know, of having anything to say. But, you know, that's all that we can hope. The 3rd guy was Mr. Zimmerman, and he was an Oath Keeper also. And he was an Oath Keeper, wasn't he? Was he the one that overheard the conversation with the Secret Service, or was that Adams? Yeah, so Zimmerman, I think this is what's going to come up later, is Zimmerman heard lots of different conversations with this Ranger Doug, who is an Oath Keeper out of North Carolina, and there was a split between him and Rhodes, and I think they're going to probably bring that up later in the court. But the big thing was that I think they'll bring up is that Stuart Rhodes, he thinks, has a contact within the Secret Service, and then he was talking to him. So we'll see as the trial plays out if that's going to come back. But I feel like it was, because they touched on it quite a bit. And then Michael Adams came along, another turncoat Oath Keeper, and his basic thing was that he also tipped off the FBI to an open letter Stuart Rhodes wrote on the Oath Keepers public page.
A package.
Excuse me. So, you know, all that is just information. Another thing is like all these tips that go into the FBI, why didn't the FBI, like, check into any of it? Why weren't the National Guard there? You know, those are questions that need to be asked, because that aren't being answered. So, what else was your takeaway today, Justin?
I mean, it's a kangaroo court, so it's not even halfway close to being fair. I mean, the last 3 days have just been kind of the same type of stuff, you know. Yeah. So it sounds like the prosecution built the case to match their narrative, and you know, all these signal messages, they shouldn't even be in there, because they can be taken out of context. You know, so they're just throwing little bits and pieces up there to match their narrative. So I think we got a phone call.
Good job, Nicole. Good job.
You're on, John.
Hey, everybody. This is John.
John.
Thank you so much. It's very hard. First, I want to say I know you guys hear from me a lot, but it's hard to get. So it's hard to continuously have guys get on. I'm going to have a guest tonight. David Dempsey will be coming on tonight after me, and then it's just like you know, getting someone on every single night. It's been a couple of months now. You know, if I can get one person at one different Patriot on a night, I like that, because I can pace myself and I don't run out of guys before they have something to talk about. Because we got, I know Sable is working on some things he wants to talk about, and Bobby and different guys. So I got guys that are kind of like urine stains, peeling. Freaking inmates are up all hours, screaming and banging on the doors. Guards bang my cell door to see if I'm dead, shine a light on my face until I move, like a fucking zoo. They took half of my clothing. Other guards and inmates stole half of all my food upon arrival. I have no idea how long I'll be here. I have to ration what I have left. Everything is rummaged through by guards and trustees before I get it. Who am I going to tell? My meals are almost half. Fucking POW compound. I gave better treatment to Taliban in the Helmand province. Ministry of Truth is coming for you. And that's a letter from Jeff McKellar from the hole after speaking out to the ACA inspectors. That's what they do. That's how they treat us. Yes, ma'am. So, I don't have any words. You know, I know they do this.
There are no words.
And there's no reason or rationale, you know, behind it. They just do what they want. They get away with it. It doesn't matter. And, you know, I feel terrible for Jeff right now because, you know, he's just all alone in a dark and nasty cell with, you know, surrounded by people that don't know him, and if they got to know him, they would hate him because the news has told them to hate him because he's a Trump supporter. And you know, it's, I mean, you know, what the news has built everyone up to do to us is amazing. Whether it's the guards or the inmates in general population. I mean, you know, people get sentenced to prison, but, you know, they're not Trump supporters that the mainstream media has told everyone are the most evil people in the world. So I can only imagine what he's facing. And I think he's even across the way. He's not even inside of the jail anymore. He's completely on the other side. So, you know, it really means a lot that you guys are out there. And, you know, I really love you, Mickey, and Randy, and Tommy, and Justin. You guys really kick ass, and it really means a lot. You know, there's nothing more of a blessing than to have the support that we do have, because without it, I mean, you know, situations like this would just disappear and we'd just be forgotten. You know?
Well, I wish it was more effective, because they're still doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And the only thing we can do is bring it to the attention of the people.
No, you're doing great. Okay. I promise. Okay. I know it's like we're spinning our wheels, but you know what? We're like you guys are spinning your wheels, because you guys are doing a heck of a lot of work and effort, and you're not. You know, you are building the potential for when midterms, when we take the majority and we actually have power, we can actually turn that potential energy into kinetic energy and actually get things done and get things accomplished and solve some of these problems. I just want to shout out, if you don't mind, a few of the activists that are really, and that are supporters that have really made a big difference. You know I do this every few days or every, a couple times a week, and it really means a lot to me to be able to do this, because you guys mean so much to us. So I just want to go down the list. You know, Kara Castronova has been so amazing, and she is at CAP, which is Citizens Against Political Persecution. That's citizensapp.us. Dave Summerall is amazing, and he's at stophate.com. Paula Calloway and Murray Goodwin at Patriot Mail Project have been indispensable. I mean, make these guys smile every day with the mail we get. Gary McBride and Ned Lang with j6truth.org. Tim Rivers on Telegram at J6 News and American Gulag Chronicles. Randy Ireland, you're amazing, Randy. We love you. And he's Americans for Justice. That's a4justice.org. And Tommy Tatum, who kicks serious ass. He's at WashingtonCountyAuditor.com. And the 100% non-North employee, Justin. He's amazing. We really love you, and I hope you're not getting me in trouble by saying that, because your family loves you, trust me. They absolutely, he has a family, and they love him so much. Mel Hawley, she is such a great fighter and such an amazing voice and such an amazing mind, and we're so lucky to have her. And I'm let me get this right, because I know she was a Sovereign Souls, and now she's Justice in Jeopardy, or is it both the same thing? Podcast?
Well, I don't. It is. She does do Justice in Jeopardy for Randy's A for Justice, and I'm not exactly sure if I think Sovereign Souls is still a thing too.
Cool, and we love her for all of that. And Huang, or AKA EOJ, and David Clements. I mean, these guys kick so much ass. David Clements, I believe he's a professor's record. Is that what it is? What is it? The Telegram channel?
You know, he's Prisoner's Record now.
It is Prisoner's Record?
Yeah.
Okay, so Prisoner's Record. I mean, David Clements really kicks some serious ass. He's been such an amazing fighter, and it really means a lot to us. Jim Hoft and the Gateway. Oh well, let me get to Victoria White first. Actually, Victoria White is absolutely indispensable fighter. We love her so much. So many of these guys have already shouted her out on this line, and I hope she's listening tonight. We love you. We really do. We're always rooting for you. She can find her on Twitter at VIS4 Victorious, and on Getter at VIS4 on Getter. She's absolutely amazing. Go follow her today. Please, please, please. She kicks butt. The Gateway Pundit, Jim Hoft, and Kelly Wilde and Kara Castronova. But the Gateway Pundit readers have helped us raise $2 million directly into our Give, Send, Go accounts, and that has been indispensable in paying for lawyers, feeding our kids at school, or paying our mortgages and things like that. I mean, there's several guys that have raised over $100,000, and that really paid the lawyers, paid the mortgage, paid the car. I mean, really, 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 the Gateway Pundit has been an indispensable partner, and all of that money goes directly into our gifts and go into our bank accounts. Nobody's taking, a thing. If you want to donate to us, please donate directly into our gifts and goes. That is the best way to do it. I don't want anything that if you want to support any of these organizations, please support them. They are amazing organizations, and anything Randy, or Mickey co-signs, I'm telling you, they endorse it, they're badass, and I'm telling you, these organizations I just mentioned are badass. But any organization that's going to claim that they're going to buy us, lawyers, just let us buy our lawyer. Give it to our gifts and goes. Just do it. It's very simple that way. We get 100% of the proceeds, and there's no middleman fee or anything like that. So that's just the best way to do it. Don't take anything I've ever said, any apologies that I've ever made or anything like that, to be an endorsement of any particular group. I know there was some confusion on the live chats last night about whether I've endorsed a particular organization or not, whether based on an apology. No, I just don't think death threats are a good thing in any way. That's what I was apologizing for. I don't apologize for not agreeing with any organization. I think that there are some that do not deserve your money, and do not take an apology that I made for inadvertent people taking something that was being, and turning it into death threats.
You have 1 minute left.
Are completely unacceptable. So please, just donate directly to our gifts and goes. That's the best way to do it.
Gotcha.
Mickey, I love you. I love you so much. I absolutely do. You are the most amazing leader this movement could have ever asked for. Please go to fortashley.com. That is the number 4Ashley with an I.com to support our movement. That is Mickey's website. She's the most amazing woman I have ever gotten the pleasure to even barely get to know over the phone lines. I mean, Mickey, I love you. I really do. I think you're amazing. And I will call right back with David Dempsey. And if you want to get to know us better in our own words, you can visit wearegoodmen.com. Please go to that website. You can get to know us, interviews, and writings that we've done. wearegoodmen.com. Thank you, everybody, and I'll call back with David Dempsey.
I did get it.
Well, it was one of the most horrific things I've ever heard.
Carol, I got it on my Give, Send, and Go account. I just seen it.